Okay, so you know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
You're like super curious about something.
Yeah.
You want to get it,
Yeah.
but you don't want to be overwhelmed.
Really.
That's what we're all about here.
100%.
We're taking like these totally different ideas and
Yeah.
we're finding those wild connections, the
Oh.
kind of stuff that makes you think.
For sure.
And today we've got a really interesting pairing.
We do. It's a good one.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at Oscar Wilde's
Okay.
The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Classic.
And then
big jump.
Huge jump. We're going to The Law of One.
All right. Fairy material.
For folks who might not have read Dorian Gray,
Right.
it's this story of Dorian Gray. This guy, he's obsessed with staying young and beautiful forever.
Forever young.
Eternal youth.
Yeah.
And get this, his wish is granted.
Whoa.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
It's his portrait that ages,
What?
not him.
Oh, wow.
And it reflects all the bad stuff he does.
Ooh, that's creepy. It's a little creepy. We got these unforgettable characters.
Okay.
Lord Henry Watton, he's like
Yes.
super witty, but also kind of morally questionable.
Interesting.
And then there's Basil Hallward.
Okay.
He's the artist who paints Dorian when he's, in his prime.
Got it.
And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum,
Totally different.
we have The Law of One.
Right.
This is like a series of channeled conversations from back in the early 80s.
80s.
With supposedly this group consciousness they call themselves Ra.
Raw. Okay.
And they claim to be from the 6th density.
6th.
Yeah, which is way up there.
Wow.
And they talk about everything
Okay.
from like the origin of the universe to like how our consciousness evolves, free will, different levels of being, service to others, service to self,
Right.
big concepts.
So we've got this Victorian novel,
Yeah.
kind of dark
Yeah.
morality, beauty, all that.
Right.
And then this huge cosmic exploration of reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they even connect?
They seem so different, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we're here for.
That's the fun part.
We're going to see if we can find the threads
Okay, I read
that
it.
connect these ideas.
Yeah.
We're going to look at how they both deal with the self,
Okay.
what corrupts us,
Yeah.
what the consequences are,
Big stuff.
appearance versus reality.
This will be good.
It might seem like a stretch,
I'm intrigued.
but I think there's some really thought-provoking links here.
Awesome. Let's dive in.
All right, let's start with how these sources approach the idea of the self
Okay.
and how that self is like reflected outwards.
Okay.
So in Dorian Gray,
Yeah.
Dorian is like consumed by this desire
Yeah.
to stay young and beautiful.
Yeah, he wants to escape aging.
Of course.
But also, I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want his actions
Right.
to show on his face.
Oh, so it's about hiding the consequences.
Yeah, like he wants to do whatever he wants.
Right.
Without having to face the consequences.
And then, of course,
Yeah.
it's his painting
Right.
that becomes this record.
This visual record.
Yeah, of his decline.
Yeah.
All the darkness inside him.
I remember that line.
Oh, yeah.
For every sin that he committed, a stain would fleck and wreck its fairness.
Powerful stuff.
Wow.
Like that portrait.
Yeah.
It's literally showing his soul deteriorating
Wow.
as he gives into this life of pleasure and cruelty.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
Okay, so let's look at the Law of One.
Okay.
They have this concept of the mind-body-spirit complex.
Yeah.
It's like the core of a person.
Right. It's like this interconnectedness.
Yeah,
Your thoughts, your body, your spiritual essence.
Well, it's not just one thing, it's everything.
Exactly. And they say this complex evolves
Okay.
through different densities of consciousness.
Densities.
Yeah, like levels.
Okay.
And we humans,
Yeah.
we're in third density,
Third, okay.
which is all about self-awareness.
Self-awareness, got it.
And realizing our potential, like activating all our energy centers.
So it's about the whole self.
Yeah, the whole package.
Okay, so we've got Dorian.
Right.
Totally fixated on his looks.
Yeah, obsessed with the outside.
While inside he's a mess.
Falling apart. Yeah.
And then the Law of One is saying,
right.
you got to develop the whole self.
The whole mind, body, spirit.
It's not just about how you look.
No, it's about your consciousness.
Interesting.
What's really interesting to me is, can we see the portrait in Dorian Gray
Yeah.
as like a messed up, externalized version of the mind, body, spirit complex?
Like it's showing what's hidden,
Exactly.
but only part of it, right?
Yeah, it's not the whole thing.
But it's still a powerful visual.
Oh, yeah, it's like screaming at you.
It's like that unacknowledged inner self.
Yeah.
What Ram might call the spirit.
Yeah.
It's like forcing its way out.
Right onto the canvas.
Because Dorian is ignoring it.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Right.
Let's talk about influence and corruption.
Oh, okay.
Because in Dorian Gray, we've got Lord Henry Watton.
Lord Henry.
He's like this powerful figure.
Yeah.
And he's all about pleasure.
Hedonism.
Right.
The pursuit of pleasure above all else.
And he's trying to like mold Dorian.
Totally. He wants to fashion him.
Right.
Into his own image.
And he does a good job.
He's very persuasive.
Yeah, he plants all these ideas in Dorian's head.
Right.
Like, the only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it.
Classic Lord Henry.
He really enjoys having that power over Dorian.
Yeah, he even says something like, there's something terribly enthralling in the exercise of influence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a bit of a puppet master.
Okay, so contrast that with the law of one.
Okay, big shift.
Because they're all about free will.
Absolutely.
Like, Ra is always emphasizing non-interference.
Right, they don't want to mess with our choices.
They say they mostly interact with wanderers.
Yeah.
These beings who've chosen to come here to help.
Right.
So they're already kind of open to guidance.
We're more receptive.
But they're very careful not to force anything.
Yeah. They respect our free will.
So it's so different from Lord Henry.
Exactly.
He's trying to manipulate Dorian.
Yeah.
And Ra is like hands off.
Let's not interfere.
Fascinating contrast.
It is.
But the law of one does acknowledge that negative influence exists.
Right.
They talk about the Orion group.
Yeah.
Which is like this negative force.
Yeah. They're all about service to self.
And they target people who are
weaker-minded,
more easily influenced.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what Lord Henry is doing with Dorian.
Oh.
He's exploiting Dorian's vanity and naivete.
Right. Playing on his weaknesses.
So it's like Lord Henry is this negative catalyst.
Yeah.
Pushing Dorian down a path of destruction.
Interesting.
Which brings us to consequences.
Big topic.
What happens as a result of these choices?
Right.
So in Dorian Gray,
the
consequences are immediate.
Right in your face.
The portrait gets uglier.
Yeah.
Reflecting Dorian's actions.
Every bad deed.
He tries to hide it.
Right.
But it's always there.
Haunting him.
And then, of course, when he tries to destroy the portrait, he dies.
It's like he can't escape himself.
It's like you can't hide from who you are.
Exactly.
The law of one has this more spiritual view of consequences.
Yeah, long-term, cosmic.
They talk about catalyst.
Yeah.
Which is basically all the experiences we have,
right,
good and bad,
yeah,
that help us learn and grow.
And choose our polarity.
Service to others or service to self.
Yeah, that's the big choice.
And they see in third density,
yeah,
this catalyst can be intense.
Oh, yeah.
We can get confused.
We forget who we are.
We forget we're all connected.
Yeah.
So Dorian's suffering.
Right. All that guilt and paranoia.
It could be seen as this super intense negative catalyst.
Yeah, self-inflicted though.
But still.
Yeah, shaping him.
And then Ra talks about harvest.
Yeah.
Which is like this transition
right,
to higher density.
It's on your polarity.
So it's like a cosmic sorting.
Yeah. Who goes where?
Based on how you've lived your life.
Right. Have you been serving others?
Or serving yourself.
Exactly.
So it's a long-term consequence.
Yeah.
Compared to Dorian's immediate downfall.
Right.
So could we say that Dorian's end is like a failed harvest?
Oh, that's interesting.
He was so consumed by negativity that he couldn't progress.
He was stuck.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
What about beauty?
Yeah.
Appearance versus inner being.
Big one.
Obviously in Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Beauty is everything.
It's at the heart of the story.
Dorian's beauty is what captivates everyone.
Yeah.
And he's terrified of losing it.
It's his biggest fear.
Which is what leads him to make that deal.
Right, the portrait takes the hit.
Even Lord Henry with his cynicism.
Yeah.
He says genius lasts longer than beauty.
Yeah, implying beauty fades.
It's tragic.
It is.
This amazing beauty just disappears.
It's a reminder that it's fleeting.
Okay, so the law of one.
Yeah, different perspective.
They say physical appearance.
Yeah, the yellow ray body.
It's just a temporary vehicle.
Right, it's like a tool.
For learning and interacting.
Yeah.
But it's not the main point.
No, the focus is on consciousness.
So the novel is obsessed with outer beauty.
Yeah.
And the law of one is like...
That's not what matters.
It's about what's inside.
Inner development.
So it's almost like Dorian Gray is this warning about focusing too much on the external and neglecting the internal, which is exactly what Dorian does.
It destroys him.
It's like Wilde.
Yeah.
Maybe without realizing it was tapping into this deeper truth that real beauty comes from within.
The evolution of consciousness.
Okay, let's talk about art, reality, and illusion.
Oh, okay. Getting philosophical.
Basil's portrait in the novel.
Yeah.
It starts as normal painting.
Right.
But then it becomes something more...
supernatural.
It's reflecting Dorian's true self.
His hidden self.
It's more real than Dorian himself.
Yeah, it's showing the truth he's hiding.
So in the Law of One,
Yeah?
they have this whole concept of reality as an illusion.
Yeah, third density is an illusion.
They say it's created by intelligent infinity.
The creator.
So that the creator can experience itself.
It's like a cosmic game.
And they say all experience comes from free will.
Which they call the way of confusion.
Because it leads to all these challenges.
Right.
So our world is like a stage.
A playground for consciousness.
And de Basil's portrait. Yeah. It's like it's breaking through that illusion.
Right.
It's showing the hidden consequences that we don't normally see.
Yeah.
So both Dorian Gray and the Law of One, they're playing with this idea
of what's real and what's not.
What we see versus what's underneath.
Exactly.
The novel uses this supernatural element.
Right.
And the Law of One gives us this whole metaphysical framework.
Yeah.
But they're both pointing to something deeper.
Beyond the surface.
I don't know about you, but I think that was a fascinating deep dive.
Me too.
We went from this dark but beautiful world of Dorian Gray to the vastness of the Law of One. And we found all these connections.
Yeah, surprising connections.
But also some really interesting contrasts.
Definitely.
It's amazing how this Victorian novel about one man's moral downfall can connect to these big cosmic ideas.
It is pretty amazing.
About consciousness and reality.
Yeah.
So both of these sources, they give us these really profound insights into the human condition.
What does it mean to be human?
The self-influence consequences, beauty versus inner truth, and the nature of reality itself.
Big question.
It makes you wonder if the power of Dorian Gray comes from its connection to these bigger truths.
Like it's tapping into something universal?
Maybe Wilde was onto something, even if you didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So here's a thought. Maybe the appeal of Dorian Gray is that it resonates with these spiritual frameworks.
Like the Law of One.
Like it's intuitively exploring these ideas.
Interesting.
So we encourage you. Go explore these sources. See what connections you find.
What resonates with you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
We hope this gave you something to think about.
Some food for thought.
And if you have any questions.
Or your own interpretations.
I'd love to hear them.
Absolutely.
Until next time. Keep those minds open.
Open and curious.
And keep diving deep.
Deep dives all the way.
See you later.